him.
Can you answer me here, ma'am?
Yes.
When you came before us,
We had already communicated that.
can I ask you, can you stop interfering with me when I ask you questions? You are going to have to be respectful here. We are not playing here. When you came before us that you have suspended the CIO, did you have the copy of the letter of suspension?
Chair, I must just verify that. Yes, I do know that we had already given him
I'm saying, did you have the copy of suspension from the CEO? The acting CEO suspending the CIO?
The copy of the letter was issued after we've had the resolution. That letter was also given him. It was forwarded to him so that he could sign. So that letter was available.
I'm saying, did you have a signed copy that Donald Selamolela is suspended?
I can't sign it. It must be signed by him.
Who says you must sign the letter? Do you listen to what I'm asking? I'm asking you. Did you have the copy signed by the delegated authority in this regard?
Okay. No,
can you not disrupt when I ask, ma'am? Okay. Can you switch that mic? Can you learn to be respectful, please? I'm asking you. You are sitting in a committee of parliament, in a meeting that is viewed by the people of South Africa. You tell the people of South Africa that you, as the deputy chair of the board, acting obviously on behalf of the chair, and your board, you are communicating to us that you have suspended the CIO. When you do not have a proof that that decision has been effected, what is your take on that?
Chair, I take it that the signed letter, I didn't have it in front of me. That is correct.
So you would agree that you misled us?
Chair, if it's seen as a mislead, I want to apologize. That was not the intention.
Seen by who? Do you agree
Chair,
that you misled us?
I want to apologize.
Do you agree that you misled us?
Chair, let me say to you, I didn't necessarily see it in that way, but what is proof? The proof of the meeting is that we didn't have the signed letter at the time when we informed you.
Would you agree that you misled the Committee of Parliament by telling them that you have suspended someone who has not even received that particular letter?
Okay. Chair, I accept.
If the acting CEO can complete his responses and inform the committee, because I just feel like transparency and divulging all information helps. What is the status of Mr. Muteba at REF? Because you speak of background checks, can we please just say everything?
DM, thanks for that intervention. You're going to have to be helpful, and you are not going to have to expect your senior to intervene for you to answer questions. That's clear, right? Now, you can't be, you can't apply austerity measures to answers. You're going to have to be as open as it can be possible so that we do not have a lot of follow-ups in terms of questions. So where you have been asked a question, please, as the DM is saying, just flow and answer the questions as you understood it to be asked. Not to want to be, economic with answers. Sure.
No, thanks for the clarity. Like I said, I understood it to be about this security screening, but the subsequent events around the CIO is that he has been placed on suspension, as per the also resolution of the board. I think he's currently on suspension.
With effect from?
With effect from yesterday.
Yeah, you see.
Listen,
Yeah.
You see, my apologies, Chair. Can we put things in their context? At a SCOPA meeting, SCOPA advised the board of REF and the executives that it was in receipt of a letter from the city of Johannesburg indicating that Mr. Muteba had resigned on the eve of the conclusion of a disciplinary process. But the information and the letter which came from Mr. Muteba's letters said other things. Now, I do not understand why we would want to skirt over that matter because it's substantive to the issues which are giving this follow-up meeting. And Chair, I want to say this to yourselves. It's the last time I'm going to intervene. But I hope this gives you a glimpse of what we are dealing with. You can't be speaking about vetting in your response and place it as substantively as that, but don't add the latest developments in their context that you are in risk, unless the board went and did something different on the basis of that suspension.
Yeah.
So this is, colleagues, the extent to which the problems at REF are. So I'm asking, Chair, that they explain to you so that you don't come back now when something else arises with what's the status of this. Just put it out there. It's not a secret. It's an issue of governance. It's an issue of accountability.
No. DM, it's good that it is coming from yourself, that you are picking what is happening. Acting CEO, what you're doing is wrong. And it borders on being secretive to a committee of parliament. And I don't think we're taking that in kind. And I think it will be for the last time, not only to you, but also to your colleagues. We're not here to play. It's about just after 9 now. And we're not going to be sitting here listening to you, bluffing to us, telling us things not in context, when you actually know what is the context. I ask you, what is that context that you need to give because the DM has intervened? You still, even in the eyes of the DM, still want to hide other things. And I'm seeing Honorable Kobe still continuously raising a hand from there. I plead with you, please answer the question so that we don't have to take follow-ups. You still want to sweep certain things under the carpet. Why are you doing that? Don't answer that why. Just proceed and give answers.
Yeah, Chair, thanks. My apologies, Chair, if I may come across as...
You are exhausting your daily limits of apologies.
Yeah, as I've indicated that in the matter of the CIO, indeed a board resolution was taken where and pronounced at the portfolio committee, and I think in the meeting yesterday I did indicate that that particular decision.
Announced to which portfolio?
I'm saying the last portfolio committee. I think the board, when the board presented, they indicated that one of the decisions that were taken was that of the suspension of the CIO, acting CIO. And I indicated again in the meeting that we had with the DM yesterday that I could not just, without applying my mind, because I needed to be the one that signs the suspension letter of the CIO, I needed to apply myself, and after having applied myself, I eventually signed the suspension letter of the CIO, acting CIO. So I think that is...
Hold it there. What do you mean? You want to tell me that what you are saying is that the board pronounced suspension to us when you have not signed the letter? Is that what you are saying?
Correct.
DM?
Chairperson, I would want to believe that the governance shortfalls in RAF are coming to bear, because the issue around the CIO has been a subject of discussion in those COPA meetings. And then my understanding, and the board is here, was they received a response from the City of Johannesburg on this matter. And as I said, we had a meeting yesterday. And up until yesterday, a board decision had not been implemented that the board had pronounced on, insofar as this individual is concerned. So I think, Chair, it is for the board to give you the sequence of events around it. But I would imagine that it's central to accounting to the committee, unless maybe ebuncaneni bami ngibona kafishane. But we are here because there's a suspension that is a subject of discussion. Following that, there's another suspension of the Chief Investment Officer. I would imagine that any response is supposed to be very frank and forthright about that. So that is, if I ultimately, Chair, just my misgiving. Can I ask the board?
I want to come there
to explain its
maybe
due process.
let me ask this in a particular context. The acting chair of the board was there. You are the one who pronounced this issue of the suspension. The chair of the board, obviously, you apologize, so we accepted your apology. Would then imagine that she was acting on your behalf. So the two of you can assist us here. Because this borders on whether we must continue to listen to you tonight, or we must agree that you must go home and pronounce on you. Because if you can come and lie to us literally, and it's the DM who must then, we don't do that, Kwamba, please. And you have the audacity to come, even want to sweep issues under the floor to the extent that you want the DM to be the one intervening. It speaks to your failure in terms of fiduciary duties. Now tell me here, according to your understanding, when does a suspension take effect to a person?
Chair, thank you so much. You are correct. We had a board meeting. It was on the 2nd of June. And we had a whole lot of legal advice that followed specifically on that day. One of the decisions that were taken was the suspension of the CIO. And mainly because we had full evidence of why we needed to suspend him. If I can mention that.
Deputy Chair, I don't want you to give background. I think we're enough with your background.
The third, maybe the answer is the 3rd of June. On the 2nd of June, we made that decision, and essentially, it doesn't lie within the board. In terms of delegation, that matter goes straight to him as the acting CIO to effect the acting CEO to effect the decision. So even if we've made the decision, the delegation to implement does not lie with the board. It lies with the acting CEO.
So you said with us, told us in confidence, and if we were to go to the public, said that the CIO is suspended, when actually he is not. Is it he or she?
It's a he. It's a he.
When he is not suspended.
Chair, the board made the decision and communicated that decision to the acting CEO. Please understand that the board cannot effect it. It needs to give it back to the acting CEO. And I mean, on the day when we made that, we made him aware of that. So we just can't sign his letter. Delegation lies with him.
Can you answer me here, ma'am?
Yes.
When you came before us,
we had already communicated that.
Can I ask you, can you stop interfering with me when I ask you questions? You are going to have to be respectful here. We are not playing here. When you came before us that you have suspended the CIO, did you have the copy of the letter of suspension?
Chair, I must just verify that. Yes, I do know that we had already given him
I'm saying, did you have the copy of suspension from the CEO? The acting CEO suspending the CIO?
The copy of the letter was issued after we've had the resolution. That letter was also given him. It was forwarded to him so that he could sign. So that letter was available.
I'm saying, did you have a signed copy that Donald Selamolela is suspended?
I can't sign it. It must be signed by him.
Who says you must sign the letter? Do you listen to what I'm asking? I'm asking you. Did you have the copy signed by the delegated authority in this regard?
Okay. No,
Can you not disrupt when I ask, ma'am?
Okay.
Can you switch that mic? Can you learn to be respectful, please? I'm asking you. You are sitting in a committee of parliament in a meeting that is viewed by the people of South Africa. You tell the people of South Africa that you, as the deputy chair of the board, acting obviously on behalf of the chair and your board, you are communicating to us that you have suspended the CIO. When you do not have a proof that that decision has been effected, what is your take on that?
Chair, I take it that the signed letter, I didn't have it in front of me. That is correct.
So you would agree that you misled us?
Chair, if it's seen as a mislead, I want to apologize. That was not the intention.
Seen by who? Do you
Okay,
agree that
Chair,
you misled us?
I want to apologize.
Do you agree that you misled us?
Chair, let me say to you, I didn't necessarily see it in that way, but what is proof? The proof of the meeting is that we didn't have the signed letter at the time when we informed you.
Would you agree that you misled the Committee of Parliament by telling them that you have suspended someone who has not even received that particular letter?
Chair, I accept.
Okay. Eish.
To say I accept, it was not intentional, because I couldn't act on it myself. So I want to say I accept, but it was not intentional.
Suspension letter.
I signed it yesterday.
Is your matter, Honorable Kwabis? You want to say something?
Chair, I think I'm...
No. You are still coming. You have your set. You are coming.
Chair, I think we are witnessing in real time a pattern of the board of doing things a day before we come to the committee, things that have high legal implications. They have misled the board, they misled Scopa, and now every other slide on that presentation says the matter is under sub judice, because they were unable to tell us the truth. In their back and forth, they say Mr. Letwalo was insubordinate. He refused, point blank.
I think you are getting to the discussion now. Let me ask this last question so that you proceed with your questions. Colleagues, you still have your own time.
Chair.
Honorable God.
Sorry, Chair.
What is your intention about the acting CEO? Because that is an act of insubordination. Did you reflect on that particular matter?
Chair, from my side, I only had it yesterday when we were at the DM's office, that he only signed the letter yesterday. So that's really what we sort of got to know. I didn't know that he had not signed up to then. So that's just my honest answer. I only knew yesterday. I thought he had already signed it.
Did you reflect on that matter yesterday when you were with DM? When you learned, between yesterday and now, what is the decision you have taken about that particular act which resulted in you misleading a competent committee of parliament?
Chair, I will say we have to take it back to board. I can't make a decision myself. The board was there.
The question is, did you as a board, because you got that information yesterday as in the meeting of the board and probably once again by the intervention of the DM, by the time you get that information, did you reflect about that particular matter, about the conduct of the acting CEO?
Chair, I think we each reflected, but we have not met as a board to make a decision. I think we did reflect, but we do need to meet as a board and make a pronouncement on that conduct.
I hope you'll still have that time. Yeah, proceed with questions through your DM. Sorry for those interventions.
I think we were at a point where the audit committee was going to provide a response on issues that had been raised. I think that was the last segment that was there on issues around the risk and the chief claims officer and the CEO being a referee and a player.
You can pass the bite.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks for the opportunity to comment. I think this question is probably more appropriate to Regal Chair instead of the Audit Committee. So
But the question was put to you.
There is a context at which why the question was put to you.
Okay, and maybe Chair, can I please have the question so that I'm sure in terms of answering the question? I don't want to answer incorrect question, Chair.
When you say that the question is best as answered by someone, what is the question that you understood to be?
My understanding of the question that was placed before me was around the risk as well as the control around governance. So maybe to explain the lines of defense, you have the board, and the board have various subcommittees, including audit committee, regals, and amongst. Regal is your risk governance and actuarial committee. It focuses predominantly on risk matters, including assurance. But because audit committee have a responsibility by its statute, the Regal committee then reporting to audit committee. Hence, I was answering the way I was answering, Chair.
Internal controls?
The internal control, obviously, it's our CIOA who report directly into the audit committee.
So when the matter was reported to you, I'm trying to assist you to arrive home quickly. When the matter was reported to you, because the CIO deals with internal control, and my understanding and the context of the question borders on internal controls, what did you do yourself with that matter before you passed the bite?
My apology, Chair. I don't want to mislead the committee or otherwise. I would prefer to err on the caution side and ask the question to be repeated. Honorable Member, I apologize.
Your question? Yeah.
Oh, I think we asked almost the same question, but I can give context to what I was asking.
Do that.
Just to perhaps, I think as an audit committee and a risk management committee, you do receive reports of internal audit on their audit of corporate services. I believe it should be annually because the risk level is quite high in that particular department. Now, I believe that you have received the report, and I believe that in the first few pages of the report, it states the organizational structure, the budget, and the current expenditure at that time. I'm saying the format of the report, and I'm sure you are familiar with what I'm saying. And part of that report is that it would tell you that there is the CEO is acting in this particular position. What was your take on that? That's what I'm asking. Because I believe that you were supposed to raise it as well, if you are uncomfortable with it or it was not within your risk appetite. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. Once more, my apology. I think the question is much clearer. Thanks to the Honourable Member. And the Honourable Member is indeed correct that that particular report would have been elevated to the Audit Committee. I just want to clarify that within the RAF governance structure, an audit committee is not audit and risk committee, it's audit committee. However, the risk matters do have dotted line into the audit. The report that was provided in particular around this role of the acting chief claims officer, the reason that we were given were noted by the audit committee. And I think in all honesty, we were quite comfortable with the reasons, given that that function was quite critical. We didn't see in the interim or in the short term, why would the CEO not be acting in that position? And I think on an ongoing basis, the feedback that then came through after, I think it was also of evidence that there were no issues of performance within the function. And obviously there were quite serious issues around various regions, to an extent that CEO warranted to act and address those issues. Thank you, Chair.
So you see, you had answers, and
Chair, Chair, I want to apologize. I really apologize, honorable members. Yeah.
okay, yeah. Who was the last?
I think
You're done.
Yeah, Chair, it's just to confirm two things, and one is that on the issues around the accounting standard, the board has requested 21 days to look at issues around the sorry, Chair. 21 days to do an analysis, an actuarial analysis on the impact that withdrawing from the court would have, and I have granted the 21 days dispensation for them to complete that work. Parallel to that is they want to do an impact assessment and the actuarial quantification on that. And then secondly is to indicate that tomorrow I am scheduled to meet with the Accounting Standards Board in order to ensure that we fast track the completion of an appropriate accounting standard for the REF. Chair, I want to reiterate the position of the ministry on this matter. We do not believe that the RAF should be in court on this matter. And we have communicated that clearly and firmly, and we have been met with a response which is simply a no. As I speak, following the SCA judgment, the Road Accident Fund is in the Concourt on this matter. And I want to clarify, Chairperson, that that course of action has been undertaken without the support of the ministry. And that support won't be forthcoming because we believe that this is a matter which, after 3 court judgments, adverse ones at that, should not be proceeding. So I thought I should place that, but for the purposes of progress, I have granted the 21 days following yesterday's meeting, and then we will be in a position to report back to yourselves on the next course of action to be undertaken insofar as that matter is concerned. Thank you.
Maybe when you're still the DM, before I allow other members to come in, was this a board decision to challenge this accounting standard?
My understanding, Chairperson, is that yes, that is the case. My understanding of the latest court action is that it is a decision of the board, but with dissent within the board.
Okay. Colleagues, we are going to take, no, colleagues, you have raised the hands, you are noted. We are going to move as follows. Honorable Van Staden, you will be followed by Honorable Ghana. Honorable Ghana will be followed by Honorable Blosse. Honorable Blosse will be followed by Honorable Montana. Honorable Montana, what is that number? You want to speak again? Yeah, I'll allow follow-ups later on.
Chair, I'm sorry. I omit something which I believe and the ADG reminds me.
Before, let me finalize the speaking list, and then Honorable Montana, Honorable Mkompane, and Honorable Malomaj. You will come in. From there, I'm going to allow general follow-up for everyone, and then I will take hands for that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is to indicate that on the question of the latest decision of the board with dissent, as a result of that, decision or its construct, the papers to the ConCourt, I'm advised, were signed by the CEO and not the chairperson of the board, who I'm told was not in agreement with the onward proceeding to the ConCourt, and therefore the board resolved to delegate the signing of the papers to the CEO. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we've, yeah.
No, Chair, just to get it clear, man, it was supposed to be signed by the chair and the chair refused to sign.